Welcome everybody to another CIRF report. We're on the evening of the 22nd of January. Some much different energy. We're going to actually go back to last night's Dreambot run to start out with. I think we figured out the technology part of this, rearranged it, although there aren't going to be any other CIRF reports here in the hotel in California. That means that there won't be a Thursday night, but we will reconvene on Friday morning, and I'll get you another CIRF report Friday morning, okay? So this should cover you until then. Look at what we have that was on the Dreambot yesterday, and I'll zoom in so that this should help be able to see it. But lots of look at all these red arrows. Animal, trapping, and hunting. We have animal twice, animal and animals. And we have trading and coat and, follow, taken, yard, teeth. There's all these things about surrounding the animals and the animals running. And so there's lots of like trapping and hunting and just animals. And then the other was Bible. So like Daniel and John are in there. Tower, believe, vision. Daniel is the vision, the vision person. That's what's really interesting. So in the astrology, we're going to be looking for animals and possibly hunting, and then biblical or Bible, or visions. So that's going to be in there. Then tonight's Dreambot run, this was freshly done just now, so we'll zoom into here. And in this one, we're looking at the red arrows now mean emotion and feeling, and there's mum and female and wishing. And so this very yin energy, female energy, I'm calling it the divine feminine. Then we have communication and learning, which is very much Mercury. So we're going to be looking at not just Mercury, but there's some other aspects that are going to confuse communication. There's going to be a lot of confusion probably in the next couple days. There's kind of some halting, some weird perceptive energy have to do with emotions and relationships and that kind of thing. So that's just kind of a forewarning. But we're looking for yin, divine and feminine. We're looking for communication and learning. Okay, that generally means Mercury, but as you'll see, there's much more than just Mercury. So here's the astrology. This is tomorrow, the 23rd, and we start with a square at 5:12 p.m. That's Central Time with Mercury and Uranus. So already we have the communication being disrupted. Communication, possibly some mishaps. Uranus being all about change, Mercury being about the learning and the communication that we just talked about in the Dreambot. That was very significant in tonight's Dreambot run. So what's happening with that square? Well, you may lose concentration, you might have some forgetfulness, you might have to postpone some things, you might have some change in plans. It's very important that tomorrow, especially tomorrow evening, you're just going with the flow. Okay, things are going to be very difficult to plan. If you've got heavy negotiations or big plans for tomorrow night, then you might want to postpone those. But if you can go with the flow, just go with the flow. Then a little bit later, the moon is going to enter an opposition with Neptune. And here you're going to increase your emotional sensitivity. There could be confusion in feelings. We've already talked about that. Misinterpretation of emotions. A lot of psychic stimuli. Imagination is stimulated. Okay, so getting ready for bed. This is a great night for dreams, but it's also it could potentially be confusing, because you're going to be going deep and imaginative. Then, even a little bit later, this is almost by midnight Central Time, the moon is going to enter into a square with Jupiter, and then following shortly thereafter by Venus. You can see where these squares are not only confusing relationships, but confusing your emotions, communication, understanding of certain things. So it's very important to just kind of take a step back, kind of breathe, and mindfully go through the day. Well, we're going to go through the sidereal here in a second, but I'm going to cover Thursday as well. And just like I talked about before, right after the moon enters the square with Jupiter, it's going to then enter the square with Venus, and that's at 2:30 in the morning. And so while most of us are sleeping, you're feeling very social, but the neediness for affection presents itself in pleasure seeking. So don't be surprised if maybe you're a recovering addict and you have using dreams. We call them using dreams, where you're using the drug or drinking the alcohol that you haven't consumed in X amount of months, and you're thinking, why am I dreaming about this? Well, it's just the pleasure seeking square right there with Venus. And then, of course, your neediness for affection. And so, you can kind of make mistakes tomorrow night. Moral decay is happening with that square with Jupiter. And then the neediness for affection. You might get with people that you don't want to be with. So watch that. Watch out for that if you're single and, mingling and going out, that kind of thing. These relationships aren't probably permanent that you're meeting. Of course, there's always a chance of that, but chances are no. All right, then you have the moon later in the day, and I messed up on the time there. I'm noticing that that's the exact same time as the square, and that's not possible. This is a little bit later on in the day. There's a trine from the moon over to Pluto. And with this trine, with this aspect, we're really asking you to go deep. Well, we aren't, but the stars are. The influence is asking you to go really deep. And the Dreambot picked up on this. This is the yin. This is the yin aspect, the energy of depth and imagination. Maybe not imagination, but subconscious material. And these really could be deep. We're, as humans, we're communicating at an unconscious level all the time. This gets heightened. And so you're going to be seeing how your subconscious communication is taking effect. So interesting characters come to, want to talk to you. And, before that even happens, you're communicating at a subconscious level and broadcasting that particular energy. So based on who you're attracting and what kinds of things you're attracting, and you might even have conscious awareness of the thoughts and underlying emotions, this is the day. And so that's Thursday. Thursday is a day of depth and increased emotional sensitivity and increase in psychic perception. And you might have deep insights. Okay? That's it for the astrological and Dreambot influence. Now let's take it back and rewind, and we're going to do the sidereal now. So when we backtrack, and both days, this is going to be applicable for both days, because when we align with the stars, we're going to go out to this outer ring here and go to the sidereal. But you notice that Uranus is in Aries, Moon is in Leo, and we have this gaggle here is all in Sagittarius. Folks, to align with the stars is all about aligning with the fire signs. Now, this is kind of counterintuitive, but to me it really makes sense. We're going to have a lot of emotional chaos. Potentially, we're going to have some stifling of some energy. We're going to have stifling of relationships. Potentially, things are going to get confusing. Communication is kind of going to get jacked up. So, in other words, if you align with the stars, if you align with the fire energy, no longer do we have to be afraid of the subconscious material. No longer do we have to succumb to these deep emotional turmoil and waves of energy. We can be, well, first of all, we can boldly see that. We can boldly be mindful about what's happening on the inside of us without it consuming us. And then the other thing is, well, with fire signs, you have confidence. You have the best of the fire signs is the confidence, being bold, being, well, not afraid to move forward. And moving forward in this environment can be very difficult because it feels like quicksand, it feels like mud with all these emotions around. And so being bold and being confident is the key. Check out the next day. This is Thursday, and we still have the same thing. Moon is in Leo, and there's the Pluto as well as the other ones are in Sagittarius. So we still carry on. And if you're seeing this extra deep communication and deep insights coming out from Pluto, and by the way, that's a trine, so very positive nature. I mean, these deep insights may not be feeling positive, but the net result should be very positive, and they're coming out in order to improve you. So being that Sagittarius fire is no longer scared of what's coming up in the subconscious mind. Okay, boldly going within. Remember, the divine feminine is very deep down inside, and in all of us, not just the females. According to Carl Jung said that we are basically all androgynous, and we have sides of the divine feminine and the divine masculine in all of us. And this Pluto aspect, particularly Moon and Pluto in a trine, is deep into the divine feminine, asking you to go deep into those deep emotions and excavating and allowing those insights to come out. But if you're afraid of it, you're going to easily try to distract yourself. Your conscious mind is going to distract yourself from those key subconscious insights, and that's why aligning to the fire energy is very important, being bold. Now, there's a downside of the fire energy, and we those of you who continue to tune into the CIRF reports know this, but the downsides are impulsiveness, maybe being reckless with other people and even yourself, and we don't want that. We don't want to be reckless. We be very mindful. Let's go through a summary now. Are you ready for a summary? So on Wednesday is being brave about the challenges that you might end up facing with relationships, communication, and maybe even mishaps and change of plans. Okay, and then on Thursday is your chance to go deep within, but both days require assertiveness to be willing and open to go within, because it's the skeletons in the closet are scary. So those pictures are on NationalDreamCenter social media, and if you really want to get the energy playbook, that's over on Interzension, and you see the name here. Look up on Instagram or even Facebook, look up Interzension, and you'll get these periodic energy playbooks based on the CIRF reports. So what do we want to do? Be brave with deep, genuine introspection. Number 2, mindfully being confident in your ability to handle your skeletons in the closet. Number 3, allow insights to flood your consciousness. Insights about good, healthy change. Insights about how to not be stuck in the past and stuck in this deep subconscious crap that we so desperately want to move on from. But those insights are what are there for you to improve. And then on the right side is don't judge yourself for these deep, not only the insights, but the deep subconscious material that's coming out against your will, possibly. And don't be impulsive with anything during this period. Be very, very mindful, be very conscious and aware and present to all your experiences. Number 3, don't be reckless with yourself, and especially don't be reckless with other people. It's a very karmic period. Karma is associated with the deep subconscious. Pluto is part of that piece. So you don't want to be creating more bad karma by being impulsive and reckless. Okay? So, in the last thing here is this should be our last surf report from beautiful California for a while, and next time we'll be back in Arkansas, but it's going to be Friday morning, not Thursday evening, because we're traveling all day on Thursday, and we'll be back at you on Friday. Thanks, everybody. Have a good rest of the week.